safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban, a multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veterans services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who's interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees, our 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Something's wrong on the agenda. It's 8:35 and it's October 4. My birthday was yesterday, in case anybody wants to.
Oh, happy birthday, Dick.
But that's okay. And I have shoes that are the same color this morning, in case anybody's interested in that. I'm sure you're not. However, let's begin with public comment. Is there any public in the room that would like to comment? Seeing none. Consent agenda. Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions? Anyone want to remove anything? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Commissioner Morgan, did he leave?
No, I said aye.
No, I didn't hear you. Okay. Item 3, Darrell, please.
Yes, this is a request to recommend to the board to authorize a winter 2016 county corrections and detention millage levy, senior services millage levy, and veteran services millage levy. We are in the process of preparing a recommended, actually have prepared a recommended budget for fiscal year 2017. Included in the proposed budget will be programming and appropriations necessary to support operation and debt service requirements for the county correction detention facilities, senior services programming, and veteran services programming. On October 4th, 2014, August 5th, 2014, and August 5th, 2008, county electors authorized dedicated property millages in support of veteran services, senior services, and county corrections facilities and operations. The resolution being proposed to go to the board will authorize the levy of .7893 mils for operating and debt service requirements for the corrections and detention, 0.5 mils for senior services, and 0.5 mils for veteran services. There are no increases from the millages levied in calendar year 2017. Funds derived from the levy of these millages will be utilized to support services in the 2017 county budget. In addition, on November 8th, county electors will have an opportunity to authorize 0.44 mils dedicated to providing Grand Rapids Public Museum and John Ball Zoo, Inc. services. If that millage passes, we will submit another resolution in November authorizing a December 1, 2016 levy.
Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
I'll jump in at once. Okay, thank you. Questions?
Just had a quick question, but I don't see the clerk here. In my day job, we deal with stuff every once in a while of a millage, and then it has to be certified before it can be collected. Sometimes people say a May millage doesn't give you enough time to certify it for a July collection. So I'm just confused by that last bullet point that we'd be able to levy it within weeks.
We have in the past, when we have done November millages, we have done a quick turnaround.
So it's
It is possible, yes. And everyone, all of the players that are associated with this are aware of this fact, so.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 4, please.
This is a request to recommend to the board to adopt a resolution authorizing a limited full faith and credit pledge on the Grand River Floodwalls and Embankments Drain Bonds, Series 2016, and to authorize the county treasurer to execute requisite disclosure documents. The City of Grand Rapids, pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 20 of the Drain Code of 1956 as amended, filed a petition with the Drain Commissioner requesting improvements to the Grand River Floodwalls and Embankments drain. In response to that request, the Board of the Grand River Floodwalls and Embankments Drainage District has authorized and provided for the issuance of bonds in an amount not to exceed $10,075,000 for Phase 2. These bonds will be used to partially finance improvements to the Grand River floodwalls within the City of Grand Rapids. Bonds are being used in anticipation of the collection of an equal amount of installments under a special assessment against the City of Grand Rapids and State of Michigan. To obtain the lowest possible interest on the bonds, the Drainage Board is requesting a resolution consenting to the pledge of the full faith and credit of the county on the bonds. If adopted, the resolution irrevocably pledges the full faith and credit of the County of Kent for the prompt payment of the principal and interest on the bonds. In addition, the resolution also authorizes the county treasurer to execute a certificate to comply with the continuing disclosure requirements with respect to the bonds and to carry out collection and enforcement actions pursuant to state statute.
Okay, I need a motion.
So moved.
Support?
Support.
Support. Questions?
I have one.
Diane?
I was wondering if we could dive in a bit to the relationship with the city and us and how this flows, why, just shine some light on why the city just doesn't issue their own bonds.
We're saving them money.
Darryl, you want to answer that question? Or you want-
Well, historically, what we have done is, and this is probably the third time that we have issued bonds for, fourth time, for the Grand River floodwalls. And it would allow for the City of Grand Rapids to take advantage of the county's AAA credit rating and result in lower payments. The City of Grand Rapids will make payments on these bonds.
But we're saving them money.
Yeah,
and
it will not be the county that's paying, I mean, the county will pay the bonds, but we get the money from the City of Grand Rapids. There will be no outlay of the county on its own for this. But
Any, up to and including any costs for issuance and all that
issuance, yeah.
stuff, they're gonna, all that's gonna be tied up into,
the
what they're
yeah,
paying.
Yep.
Just to follow up, is there any other example where we do this for other municipalities or townships or villages?
We usually do it for the larger projects. We haven't done anything for smaller projects or for other local. I think we've done one for another local unit of government. I'm talking exclusive of drains.
Right.
But off the top of my head, I can't identify it. I know we've done it more than once over the last 20 years.
So,
This is actually the fourth bonding that we've done for the floodwalls in particular. Back in '93, when Roger Lanning was drain commissioner, we did the first two for that project. And basically, this issuance of the bonds was precipitated, no pun intended, of the flood that we had in 2013, if you remember, when the fish were swimming by the windows in the newspaper. We came pretty close to breaching those floodwalls. As a matter of fact, the sewage treatment plant down by Plaster Creek was sandbagged to keep the waters from flooding into the sewage treatment, taking the sewage treatment plant offline. We did a $4 million, I think $3.75 million bond either last year or the year before, I forget what the exact date was, which were to make repairs to the existing flood walls and to protect the sewage treatment plant. This bond is to raise the flood walls to comply with requirements that we have negotiated, or the city has negotiated with FEMA. They have to certify that our flood walls meet a certain level of protection, and this is basically to comply with those. We had a significant amount of negotiations with FEMA as to what requirements we were going to have to meet. This is basically to bring those flood walls up to and then be in compliance with those regulations. Now, does the county has no obligation to provide these bonds, but it saves the city and the residents a significant amount of money if we can use the bonding capacity of the county. And this is an intercounty or a Chapter 20 county drain that allows us to do that. And this is permissible under the drain code. I would say from a community interest, if we had breached the flood walls 3 years ago, it would not just have been the city of Grand Rapids that would have been affected. It would have been a huge hit to the county of Kent as well. And so I think even though it's not our obligation, we have a vested interest in protecting the property within the city as well as the city does.
Thank you.
Matt?
So I get the vested interest side of the argument. I guess I'm generally hesitant to, co-sign a loan, on behalf of another party in my personal life. So also here, I think that makes me a little hesitant. So, but basically, we're by writing this under our AAA rating, we're saving them probably $400,000, something like that.
I'd have to, bond counsel is here and could maybe address exactly what the savings are, or perhaps Mark DeClerk, city engineer, could answer what the amount of the savings is we're doing. I don't have the exact dollar amount.
Well, AAA bond rating probably gives us, 25 or 35 basis points?
Yes.
Less than than what Grand Rapids might
Okay, so
go for, so whatever, I don't know.
It's significant.
I'm not gonna try to do the numbers, but
On a $10 million bond issue, that would be $250,000, $300,000.
Right.
So it's a significant savings.
Yeah, so basically, we're saving the city 300 grand and exposing ourselves to what's probably a minor risk, but exposing ourselves to their ability to pay.
That's correct.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I think my question was, had a question about the offering of the bond and that cost. And that's going to be covered by the city. And it's just one of those scenarios where another municipality can take advantage of our AAA bond rating. And so we've done it in the past, and I guess I don't have a problem.
Any other questions?
Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stan. I'm looking right through you.
That's all right.
Yeah, whatever.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Just for the record, what is the city of Grand Rapids' bond rating?
Yeah.
I think it's a AA.
Yeah. I looked it up last night. It's in Moody's, it's AA2, so it's the middle of the second tier.
Okay.
Now, I just want to convey a little discussion that Chair Sawfeld and I had. We're both on the Chapter 20 Train Board before the meeting. And here's what the question that we asked of Bill and bond counsel. But one of the pieces of property that's going to be affected somehow, we don't know exactly how, is that piece that we own just north of I-96. It's on the river. We bought that a number of years ago, and it's for sale. And the question that I asked Bill was, because at some point, instead of just raising the concrete walls up, they're going to actually cut them down and taper back a bank, the top of which will be higher than what the present wall is. So they'll be making so it'll be in effect doing the same thing as raising the wall. However, that bank on our property, what is that? I don't know the answer to this, but so we cut the wall off here and we taper it back. What does that do to the value of our property? I mean, it could come back. It could come back 30, 40 feet into the property, or some number like that. So the question was, Bill, how are we as the county protected in this whole thing? And the answer that he just gave me before this meeting is that the city has agreed to purchase that lot from us. I don't know that we have anything in writing or a price.
There are grants that have been awarded. We're waiting for them to be authorized, and the amount will be based on the updated appraisal on the property. The last time it was appraised, which was the beginning of this process a couple of years ago, was at like $3.5 million. So
Say that again, Darrell. I didn't hear you.
3.5.
$3.5 million. That was the last appraisal. The appraisals are currently being updated.
And we paid about 2.4 for that, as I recall?
2.4, 2.5 in that area, yes.
So, the question, we have to approve the bonds and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's gonna help the city with that piece of it. Do we have some risk on them not buying our property? They say they're gonna do it, but, I'd personally like to have, somebody go on record as saying, yes, that's what we're gonna do, and this is what we'll pay you for.
Mark D. Clerk, City Engineer.
For 4.5 million?
4.5 million, yeah.
Good morning. I'm only the city engineer, so I can't talk about some of the fiscal details, but I do know that there are staff that's working together between the city and the county in purchase of that property. My understanding is that the purchase or the closing after the appraisal and the financial numbers come back is anticipated by the end of this year, December 31st. We are, like like Bill Bile had mentioned, we're in a process with FEMA in certifying our flood protection system according to the levy analysis and mapping procedure process that was adopted by FEMA here back in 2014. So we're under a mandate to get the flood protection system completed by September 1 of 2017. The question pertaining to the Kent County property, any improvements won't happen for a time being here, and particularly after the city would purchase the property from the county. I do know that there are dollars earmarked within the city fiscal budget to match what is with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund to assemble properties down there into one and purchase them. That process is all part of the closing works that are underway. And the city was approved by the state to for the dollars to the funding to move forward with that.
Okay. Everybody understand that? I think selling the bonds is something we've done before, and there's little risk, I guess, for that. This other piece, I don't know how anybody else is feeling about it, but.
Yeah, well, to quickly say it, not to impede today's motion, but maybe by the 13th, we could have at least a closer ballpark on what the actual savings are. And hopefully it doesn't take Steve and his department too much time to do that, but just because, again, we hold out our AAA bond rating, and here's a great opportunity to prove how much it actually saves the community, because believe it or not, the citizens of Grand Rapids are also citizens of Kent County. I think my voting card says that. That being said, and as Drain Commissioner Bile enters his final days with us, just as an elected official, that I don't want to be too verbose about it or whatever. But anyways, one of his metaphors, it's reality, that he once gave us is that the Grand River through the city of Grand Rapids is the funnel. And the vast majority of this water is coming from your houses and your neighbors, not from me. And so this really is county and Ionia County and even Jackson County water that's all got to squeeze down to a tiny little, and it looks big, but it's really a tiny little concrete tunnel. And so anyways, I mean, I greatly appreciate that image that the Drain Commissioner gave us in the past. So again, this is a lot of people's water that squeezes through our downtown. So we all have some responsibility in this, and it's awesome that we're able to save the city of Grand Rapids some money.
And we're happy to do that.
And then, as long as we're getting numbers, I don't know if Stephen's got to do it. I'm assuming the bond people should be able to pull these numbers. The thing that always, we say that the AAA is going to save, and in this bond market that we're in with zero interest rates, at the end of the day, really, does a A2 bond gonna get that much more charged onto it than a AAA? Because people are still looking, and there's not enough of these bonds out there. And what it really is the difference, we're not talking about a C bond rating versus our AAA. So maybe the bond council can give us some hard and facts where, because the bonds going out as an A2, no one's ever going to know. We're just speculating. What is the track record of differences when those two compete against each other, AAA against A2?
Okay, we're going to get the answer to that right now.
Yeah, Roger Sweats from Dickinson Wright. We're working as bond counsel on this. Robert W. Baird and Company is doing the financial work on this issue. And typically bonds of this nature trade on distinct scales of interest rates depending on the rating. So when I get back to the office right after this meeting, I'll ask Baird to run a schedule for you that shows you exactly what we'd expect the debt service to be at the AA and what it is at the AAA, and that will show you what's going to be saved. Obviously, those are estimates. They're little tweaks that the buyers of the bonds might make given their interest in the community or whatnot, but that'll give you a good idea, and it should be a fairly significant number. And the other thing that I would just pass on to you is that because these are bonds that the city is basically going to be paying the debt service for you, this is really viewed out in the bond world as kind of a conduit bond with just that enhancement. So it's a very secure type of bond for the county to be involved in, and the city has very strong abilities to be able to pay it. So all those things working together, should make this a very good situation for the taxpayers who will ultimately carry this burden.
Okay, so by the 13th, you have some numbers for us then.
Right.
Everybody
Thank you.
wins.
Anyone else have any questions? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion's carried. Item 5 is miscellaneous. Anyone have,
Just for the record, I send my water to Ottawa County.
okay, any other miscellaneous? Not, we're adjourned. Thank you.
I am Kent County. I am Kent County.
I am Kent County.
We are 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 Kent County.
Beya, Kent County. Ami, Kent County.
Somos Kent County.
Mas Ira, Kent County.
We are Kent County. We are Kent County. We are Kent County. Oh yeah.